All right, so thanks so much for coming. Again, I'm Miss Knapp-Lindsay, the college coordinator at Ignite, and this is the 9th grade dual credit freshman presentation for actually fall dual credit courses. Believe it or not, we have to think about that already just to get things in motion. And so since this pertains to the freshman class, hopefully you know, although your sons may be like mine or your children, that if they come home and you say, how was the day? And they're like, that's about a grunt. But we have already met with all of the freshmen through their English classes yesterday over a Teams meeting. It was both of us. And so they've sort of heard this spiel already, unless they were absent or ill or something like that. So I'm glad that you could come tonight, though, because you definitely bring a different perspective than the student perspective. And regardless of your knowledge level, I'm going to try to address all of your levels. The same with students, starting at a very basic question, which is what is dual credit? And it's basically the ability to take college level classes during high school. Okay, so in high school. And some of those classes will have the ability to function dually. So they have a double role. They will not only be college classes where your student is earning college credit, but they also will check off sort of a requirement box for Kentucky high school graduation. And that's how they function dually. Not all of them do, but many of them do. And we try to choose the ones that do because then you get the most bang for your buck. So that's what dual credit means. So even though they're freshmen now, we are really talking about, the sophomore schedule. That's coming soon, whether you want it to or not. And so Ignite and Gateway has worked really closely to come up with a curriculum that sort of maximizes classes that the students should be taking, the ones that are most broadly accepted across colleges. Also ones that we think are accessible and good ones for first-time dual credit students. And so the sign-up form, which we have already shown students, and if we have time tonight, which we should, I'll show you as well, gives them the option to sign up for Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes, as well as Tuesday, Thursday class. And we use an old term for this that carried over from the former school. But on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we call those curriculum day courses, and Tuesday, Thursday, production day courses. So the correct curriculum day courses that students can choose, the first one here is History 101 in the fall, and then it will be History 102 in the spring. Okay, it's offered through Gateway. It is an online class in terms of the curriculum is offered online. So in other words, there's a Gateway professor on campus, and he or she, puts the curriculum online on Blackboard. But what's lucky and very unique at Ignite is that, you see the asterisk here, we actually have Ignite teachers where your students will report Monday, Wednesday, Friday for a history class. So it's kind of an in-person person, an Ignite teacher, who's here to support the student through the History 101 and 102 class. Whether it's curriculum, kind of a nudge, you're running a little late, like you got to get this turned in. Hey guys, remember this is due this weekend. And they can also help with content. So that's going to be available for fall, and it's on the form. The other thing that's available for Monday, Wednesday, Friday is Spanish 101 in fall and 102 in the spring. And really, the only thing that has required for that is you have to have taken Spanish 1 at this point. Whether you did that in middle school or whether your students did it in middle school or as freshmen, Spanish 101 will be available. And even if Spanish is not your favorite thing, I can tell you that once you see the SMART plan, which is the path to the associate degree, if that's something you're interested in, it really is we advise that you do continue on with Spanish. Plus, it's good to be bilingual. So that's the Monday, Wednesday, Friday options. And then the Tuesday, Thursday option. So you can pick this or both or all three, 1, 2. But the Tuesday, Thursday option is a digital literacy class. It's either going to be Intro to Computers or Intro to Information Systems. Gateway's going to make that determination once they know what their staffing availability is. So yeah, so that your child can choose to sign up for digital literacy. And if you want course descriptions, I do have those available in a form that's, or on a doc that's linked in the form. There's all kinds of links on the form I'll show you. There is also going to be an opportunity for questions. So if you're having those, jot them down. We'll come back to them. I don't think I mentioned, but History 101 in the fall and it's Pair History 102 in the spring. Those two are the ones that function dually, right? Like I told you in the beginning. So if your child chooses to take that, they're taking the college course and getting the 6 credit hours, but it's going to check off that World Civ option for high school. Okay, so you don't have to take History 101 and 102, but it's a good way to get started, and it functions in several ways. All right, and then in terms of eligibility to take dual credit, I'm going to let Ms. Anderson come up and talk about that.
It's really exactly what it says. In order to qualify, for dual credit classes at Gateway, your student has to have a high school GPA of 3.0. What we are encouraging, if you're close, say you're at a 2.7, 2.8 right now, and you're determined that you want to take dual credit classes, go ahead and complete the form because we have to have rosters sooner rather than later because of staffing. If at the end of the school year you haven't gotten to that 3.0, you simply will be dropped from the Gateway classes. So the 3.0 is the minimum GPA you have to take dual credit classes. Once you've started dual credit classes, you have to maintain a 2.0 on your Gateway GPA to stay in the program. And I work out of Ignite 2 days a week, so if I get messages or if I get notifications that your student is struggling, I reach out to them and say, hey, what can we do? What needs to change? How can I help? If they fall below that 2.0, they'll have to sit out a semester, and then we recommend they retake the class because that's the quickest way to get that GPA back up.
So if you are in a lull of motivation right now, students, and you're like a little below 3.0, there's some motivation for you if your goal is to take dual credit. If you don't know where to find your GPA, we told the students this already. Some of them can see it in Infinite Campus, some can't, so we don't know which ones can and can't at this point, but we do know for sure that the GPA was sent home on the report card in January. If you hate papers around your house like I do, maybe you pitch that, maybe you save them all, I don't know. But even if you don't have it in Infinite Campus or on the grade report, they can come to this room, the box, on Thursday. And like I said this a million times to them. And we're here to help them, to give them their GPA, to give them an ACT score if they have one, to help them apply to the college if they need help. It's basically a help desk all day on Thursday, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. So make sure you encourage them to come, especially if they're feeling nervous or if you start the application tonight and you get stuck. Tell them to come here. We have a team of people here to help them on Thursday, okay? So college cost money, and it costs a lot. I have 2 sons in college myself right now. Thank God one's a senior. But dual credit is an opportunity to save some money if the student is ready for dual credit. So I've put together a little chart of just so that you can do a cost comparison. Right now, the current dual credit rate is $72 an hour, and that's set by the state of Kentucky. It will probably increase a little bit this summer just because they didn't increase it last year, but maybe not. But it wouldn't be significant. At least the first time they raised it, it wasn't. And most college courses are 3 credit hours, right? So on average, for a 3 credit hour class, $216 is the rate for the dual credit course plus fees. Fees are right around $75, but more times than not these days, that includes the online textbook. So it's usually not like a $200 textbook plus those fees, like what we're probably used to, right, if you went to school. So if you compare that to the current tuition like once a student graduates from high school, Gateway's courses cost $537 plus fees. NKU's courses cost $1239 plus fees, and then Thomas More is at $1974 plus fees. So you can see it is a significant savings. Yeah. I've never had that question.
I don't think so because they are still high school students. However, I would double check with your tax advisor, or you can contact the business office at Gateway.
I know they can't use keys money, so I don't know. I mean, that's.
I get that. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think so because they are still technically high school students. Okay.
Yeah. All right, and then if you are someone who is signing up for Spanish 101 or 102, realize that those are 4 credit hour classes, so those classes are going to cost $288 plus fees. Okay. And then as far as the payment, Ignite does not handle billing or answer any questions because we don't have access to that information. Gateway will handle all of that. Do you want to chime in or you want me to take it?
No,
Okay.
I can chime in really quickly. So most Gateway students have to pay for their classes prior to the beginning of the semester or they are dropped from the class. Dual credit students are a little lucky in that we kind of build in a cushion, a grace period for you guys. This is for a couple of reasons. One, you guys get it's almost a 60% discount. And our business department has to go in and apply those waivers individually. So they can't do like one mass. We've got about 1,500 dual credit students and 2 people in the business office. So it takes a little time. The other, and not necessarily for you guys, but sometimes there's scholarships involved. And that also has to be done manually. So I like to say, and they're not always quick with getting those to us. So I typically say wait till the end of October, even mid-November before you pay your tuition. If you want to pay some of it up front, nobody's going to say, no, we're not going to take your money. But it can get messy if they have to issue a refund. And since you're paying, but your child's the student, So I usually just say wait till those waivers have been applied. You'll be able to see it through your student services account and pay it then. The most important thing is that it's paid prior to December because that's when we'll enroll them for the spring semester. And if it's not paid, then there'll be a hold on the account and then we can't get you enrolled.
All right. So oftentimes we want to know, do the dual credits transfer though? And I can say most of the time, yes. And the reason I say that is because most of the classes that students take here at Ignite through dual credit are general education courses. So especially if your child goes to school in Kentucky, there's a House Bill 160 that requires public colleges and universities to take dual credits because in the past they tried to say, this happened to my son at UK. Oh, you took Northern's speech? Oh, no, you have to take our speech, right? And I want you to take it online. I mean, it was really goofy. But since then, things have improved. And so those general education courses are accepted more widely because the universities are forced to accept them, basically. Now, if you already know, or your child already knows, I want to go to the school where my parents went, so I know I'm going to LSU or something. Every college has something called a transfer equivalency document. So if you or your child Googles transfer equivalency in the name of the college, then after a little searching, you will basically come to like a 2-column chart. And on the left-hand side, you put in like, oh yeah, I took History 101 from Gateway. And then it will show you at LSU that counts as History 120. And if they won't take it, it won't be there. So you can if you already know which college you're going to, freshman, you can figure it out this way. The important thing to know is that dual credit classes, the grades, do affect not only your high school transcript, but also your college transcript, like your permanent one. It's starting now once you start dual credit. So it's really important to take seriously and do a great job with it. So some students will want to earn an associate degree, and you have that opportunity here. Some students don't want to pursue that, but I know some students chose Ignite because they do want to do that. And so there are some perks to it. I mean, a degree is forever, regardless of, you may graduate from high school, and if you have an associate degree, maybe you've changed gears and now you want to go into the workforce, or maybe you want to start a family, or I mean, I don't know. Things happen in life, right? But the degree is forever, regardless of where you go after high school. Of course, the more college classes that you take, the more that you're building your college network. You meet more professors, more associates from the colleges. Oftentimes, you work with multiple colleges. We partner with Northern and Thomas More in addition to Gateway. Okay, but Gateway is our biggest partner by far. There's also lots and lots of statistics that if a child takes at least 30 hours of dual credit, they are far more likely to not only matriculate into college, but also graduate from college. So that's really good news. And then, of course, the more dual credit you take, the better college habits you pick up, hopefully. And then, as I already showed you, cost savings are pretty evident. So, speaking of the associate degree, Gateway actually has a path laid out for students to follow in order to earn the associate degree. Okay, there it is. But it's basically the associate degree. There's two different types, and it depends on which college and kind of which ACT score and math class a student takes, whether they're going to earn the associate in arts or the associate in science. Okay, but I have the associate in arts pulled up here. So it's 60 total credit hours, so 20 dual credit classes around. Some of them are 4 credits, but that fit, and each class fits into one of these categories. The classes that we offer at Ignite are intentionally chosen, again, because they're widely accepted at universities, but also because they fit into the SMART plan. We will not erroneously choose a course that won't fit into the SMART plan. But like, for instance, the History 101 course that sophomores might take, it's going to fit right here on this first line. Okay. And then if they take Spanish, that completes these 2 center requirements. And then the digital literacy course that we're offering, that production day course, will check off this requirement. And it just sort of goes that way each year. And we have aligned the pathway, and it's very specific to the college too, like the Ignite college. That gets confusing too, like, because we work with colleges and we're in colleges, but hopefully that makes sense to you. All right. Did you want to say anything about the SMART plan? Or are we good?
I just want to reiterate, if you don't want to earn an associate's degree, that is absolutely fine. I don't want anyone to feel pressure or like this is what you have to do. It's just an opportunity that's available. Mm-hmm. If you want to take college classes, so you get the discount rate, you get some experience under your belt, you get some of the gen eds knocked out, by all means. We're going to work with you to do what's best for your student.
Okay. All right. So I went over these expectations with students. We both did, and both shared our perspective about it. But point 2 is one that's important for me to talk with you about, parents, because these are college classes, even though your children are very young. If they choose to take dual credit, the professors will only communicate with them. Okay, so some students are ready for that independence, and parents, and some students aren't. Some are like, no, I want my parent to keep doing that communication with my teachers for me, and if so, then dual credit is not right for them yet. Okay. Now, if the student is struggling with communicating with professors, or they're just not having a lot of success at that communication, they can come to us and we are happy to support them, whether it means referring them to tutoring, because the colleges offer free tutoring, or whether it means, oh, have you tried like maybe the way your tone and that, like talking to them about professional communication with the professors. I mean, we work on professional habits in general at Ignites, and most of our students are really good at it. But if there is a struggle, we're there to support. But there is a barrier there. So if that makes you feel really uneasy at this point, then dual credit might be something you want to wait on. And then there's also a lot more, like a double amount of accountability of stuff to check, right? It's already a lot to check between Boone County Email and Canvas. Well, Gateway uses a different learning management system called Blackboard. So it's a whole new like LMS to learn. And they also have to check their Gateway email regularly because professors only communicate through their professional email, not through Boone. So it's a lot more to check and manage. And then we told them to work hard and earn great grades. There's a bit of a safety net we told students about, because we know lots of our students, like again, some of them came to Ignite for the purpose of dual credit, but that doesn't mean that they're not uneasy. And so I have this slide for those students who are feeling a tinge of anxiety still, like it's here, oh my gosh, like I don't know, what if I don't do well? What if I can't make the grade? Colleges offer the option to drop. So within about the first week, and I communicate these drop dates through my newsletter and my website. I try to be really transparent. Sometimes I'll put them on social media. Hopefully I remember that every time. But within about the first week, students can drop with 100% refund, or not even a refund. You don't have to pay the tuition if you do that initial drop. So that gives them the chance to go to a few classes. And then if they're like, oh, this is definitely not for me, then they can let me know. And with parent permission, they can drop out of the class. The college also offers a 50% refund if they drop after 3 weeks. And then there is still a point later in the semester where they can still drop. You wouldn't get any of the money back, but they would get a W or a withdrawal on the transcript instead of a failing grade. Because again, remember, failing grades affect your GPA, affect your keys money, scholarship potential, and also the opportunity to take more dual credit. Because if your GPA gets too low, as Miss Anderson mentioned, they'll kind of like suspend you for a semester. All right. So what we explain to students is that there's a sign-up form that I'm going to show you here in just a moment. But there's a lot of stuff that they have to do before they can submit the sign-up form. 1, they have to apply to Gateway. 2, they have to you both have to complete sort of like a disclosure statement with Gateway acknowledging that, this costs money, and like my student's going to abide by the rules of the college. They have to find their GPA. They can come to the box on Thursday and we'll get it for them. If they've taken the ACT, which most haven't, they put those in and then they have to choose their classes. See, I told you. I said it like a million times to them. They can come to the box on Thursday for help if they need it. That's what we're here for. And then they have until 2/17 at midnight to submit the form, but clearly, like, you can't wait until next week because the application through the college takes a few days and things, and we cannot extend the deadline just because I'm under a tight restriction with my due dates. So once they're in dual credit, we just tell them to stay engaged with their college email, their Blackboard, Boone County email, Canvas, all of it. And then I do have the dual credit website available that I try to keep updated as much as possible. So if you just Google Ignite Dual Credit, you'll find it. It's a Google site. So essentially, this is it. And it's got a menu over here to the side. But this homepage kind of have like some announcements and things. So you can see like this is that fall 22 course signups are in process. The sign-up forms released on 2/8. Here's our parent meeting. And then I have the dual credit sign-up form here. All of the teachers at Ignite should have also put it in their Canvas today so that all students have access to this form. But let me pull it up and show it to you. So they just enter in first name, last name. And then there's a question about, does the student plan to pursue an associate degree by taking the 60 hours according to the SMART plan? Now, it's really early, right, to determine whether that's actually going to happen or not. But if that's your goal, or if that's your student's goal, put yes. If they know, like, nope, that's way too much, I probably just want to dabble, put no. But they may not be sure, and that's totally fine at this point, and they can just say maybe.
And this isn't a body.
No, it more just helps us with planning and gateway staffing and that kind of stuff. Put in the Boone County's email address and then the scholar's personal phone number. I told them I won't blow up their phone or anything, but like there might be certain instances where a professor cancels or I need to communicate with them directly. And then they put in their GPA, which can be found on the report card or come to the box. If they've taken the ACT and want to share those scores, because a lot of students have taken that Duke Tip ACT in 7th grade, just, they were trying to gauge like where they were at that point. Most of the time, those scores wouldn't qualify them anything for anything different.
As a freshman, it's not, or high school sophomore, it's not going to matter so much. But if they want to share, if they're above the teens, if they're out of the teens, go ahead and shoot them.
If not, don't worry about it. Just click I've never taken it. That's totally fine. And then this is the part that is really important, and this is the one that has the time kind of process. So in order to submit the form to me to sign up for classes, students have to put in their 9-digit Gateway student ID. And they don't get that for a few days until a few days after they apply to the college. So I'm going to let you talk about the application. I have it linked right here in the form.
Gateway's whole system went down earlier, so it looks like it's back up. So this link will take you to Gateway's page. I highly encourage you and your student to spend some time on this page. There are several tiles with different information about dual credit. If you're not sure, if we're not answering some of your questions, there really is a plethora of information here for you to take in. If you decide you want to move forward, number 1, apply to Gateway. Believe it or not, we had some kids not do that. It's a simple application, maybe 15 minutes. The things I want to highlight, I communicate with our admissions department regularly. They're amazing. The main one, it's going to ask what high school they're from. They need to put their home school. I will say that again. They have to put their home school. For a very confusing list of whatever, Ignite isn't recognized as a typical high school in the system. So if they put Ignite, it's going to bounce their application out. And since we're kind of on a time crunch and forms have to be submitted next week, we're going to save time by putting our home high school in. To make sure they double check their information. Sometimes birth dates get put in incorrectly. Any of their personal information, they just ask that you double check it. There's a box that says what kind of program or what are you applying for, dual credit, and social security number. That's really important because, again, they're getting college credit, and I've seen those come in wrong. Yeah. And the other thing is make sure there's a box that'll ask you which college, because there are several in the KCTCS system. Gateway, that's pretty important. We've had some kids apply to Elizabethtown, and well, that's not going to work because we're Gateway. So make sure they click the Gateway box. Again, it doesn't take a lot of time, maybe 15 minutes tops for this application. The second part is you and your student need to fill out the dual credit enrollment agreement. It's digital. It just says, again, you acknowledge the payment is due, that they're going to abide by, no plagiarism, no, all that good stuff. At the end, it says a high school transcript is required. I will handle that. You guys do not have to submit the transcript. It's easier for me to get them in bulk from the front office. So that's the only thing you can ignore on that.
All right, so back to the sign-up form. So you do the application and the enrollment agreement, right? And then what happens is within 2 or 3, depending on how busy they are, days, Gateway will email the student this 9-digit number. So you can see why it's important to get started this week, right? You don't want to wait until next week, because if there's a delay in getting that number, then that's going to not allow you to submit this form on time. So if you could do that as soon as possible, that would be awesome. And plus, if you start this week, then if you run into any problems, you can come to the box, students. All right, and then they put in their home high school, their college, and then their current grade level is 9. And then it brings up a little disclosure, a statement about the rate, the cost. And then it's the class sign up. So if you want to see like the course descriptions or a sampled syllabus in a dual credit class or frequently asked questions, I have that linked in the form too. I told the students that, if their parents really wanted to get in the nitty gritty, like I've got 26 pages here for you to read. It's fun, like leisure activity. So course descriptions, etc. So that's also linked in the form. So as I said in the beginning, they can either choose high school World Civ or they can choose History 101 and 102. They can choose if your student is in design, they will not be able to choose Spanish 101 and 102 as sophomores. The reason is because design students take more of the arts and design classes in the earlier years, and so we push Spanish off to junior year for them. Okay, but all the other colleges, as long as the student has taken some sort of Spanish 1 at some point, middle school or high school, then they're eligible to sign up for Spanish 101 and 102. Or maybe the student just really despises language and they don't want to take any more Spanish. Then the other option, as I already told you, is they can choose to take that digital literacy class or none. And then the final page is just, again, this is where parents, I need you to put in your contact information. And then you also say that you're giving permission. You understand that only your student's going to be communicating with the professor. You understand that there are fees. You understand that these grades will go on both high school and college transcripts, and that the student is subject to Ignite and the university partners' different policies. And then that's it. Like, it's an electronic signature and you submit, or they submit. So that's the form. Almost done. Yeah, I really am almost done. So that Tuesday, Thursday class I told you guys about, the either CIT 105 or OST 105, the digital literacy. I would encourage all students to take it because it's going to be paid for by the state of Kentucky. There's something called the Work Ready Scholarship, where the state will basically pay for any CTE courses. They'll pay for up to 2 in every year of high school. And so since the CIT and OST is one of those CTE courses, it will be paid for through that Work Ready Scholarship.
The tuition will be paid.
Yeah,
fees
not the
or
fees.
books will still, and I'm also going to throw an asterisk. This is as long as they still give the money to continue to do this.
This is true.
You know,
This is true. I mean, there is an education-friendly budget out there, but I don't know. Who knows? Yeah. So, in order to claim that Work Ready Scholarship, there is a process, and we'll deal with that maybe closer to, because I don't want to overwhelm you too much. However, I'm happy, and we are both happy to take questions at this point. Yeah?
So I see the smart plan, but what I don't see is a sample on how you can take all your classes in your years of high school.
Okay. Well, I actually have that available for you in a video where I go through the SMART plan, both the Associate of Arts and Science, and color code. I say, you're going to take these classes sophomore year, these classes junior year, and these classes senior year. Now, the caveat with that is that I did these videos last year with our old curriculum guide, and we're working on updating the curriculum guide. So once that's complete, I'll redo the videos. But just so you know, kind of how it worked on last year's curriculum guide, you will find that by going to associate degree on my website. And the plans themselves are here, but like I'll give you an example, or like let it play here for a second.
Hi, Ignite students and parents. It's Mrs. Knapp-Lindsay here to talk to you about the Gateway Smart Plan, which is the pathway that. Hi, Ignite students and parents.
It's just going to keep
Knapp-Lindsay
restarting.
here
That's not going to work.
to talk to
Anyway.
you about the Gateway Smart Plan.
Yeah, so it's there. It will change a little bit, but you'll see. I mean, generally speaking, here's how you can think of it. You can think that if your student takes all available classes offered to them, then in the freshman year, they'll take 20 credit hours. Okay, because the Spanish classes are 4 each, so that's 8. And then if they'll take, is that right?
Close to 20. It depends on what they choose, but they take both history classes. That's 6 hours. Everything we offer
Yeah.
will apply towards the SMART plan. We're not throwing classes out that aren't going to benefit you or go towards the degree.
Yeah.
If you take 20 sophomore, 20 junior, 20 senior, and every 6.
Yeah.
And it's all revolving hours because, like, I think home high school, my daughter had to take some summer classes because they put on requirements.
Yeah, that is not going to be needed unless a student either starts dual credit late as a junior, and then sometimes they have to sort of catch up in the summer, or if a student doesn't do very well in a class, then they have the opportunity to retake it in the summer. Yeah, so it's an opportunity to catch up if needed, but it shouldn't be required as long as they take everything that we offer to them. Does that answer your question? Okay.
So are all the classes only like one semester at a time? I know you said you take history, 101 in history, 102, or the CIT classes and everything, also only a semester?
Yep, everything works on a semester. And the semester usually starts about a week after the high school semester does. Yeah, there's not really much different than that. And now they usually end 2 or 3 weeks before the end of the high school year. It's the regular college schedule, including spring break. Like the students will follow Gateway's spring break. And like our students who are in classes this semester during Boone County's spring break, they have to go to class. Now, the building won't be open here for those in-person classes, so their professors will tell them whether they have to log in synchronously or if they're going to have an online class that week. But I mean, you follow the college's schedule with your classes. Mm-hmm.
Assuming that they choose college where everything transfers, how long would it take to obtain a bachelor's with an associate? Is realistically the initial 2 years, or?
So it's going to depend on what your students' goals are. You won't necessarily go in as a college junior. You could, but again, it's going to depend on the college, it's going to depend on which degree, and it's going to depend on which bachelor's they're pursuing. I will say it will significantly cut down on the amount of time they spend working on a bachelor's, and it will save you a tremendous amount of money. But we can't answer that like, yes, they'll go in as a high school or a college junior, because it's going to depend on the institution and the program they decide on.
That's where transfer equivalency comes into play. So, but the gen ed should transfer for sure. Yeah.
Is there no option for them to take any classes through NKU or Thompson More as a sophomore? And do you have any type of associate program built with those colleges, or specifically Gateway?
Specifically with Gateway. Yeah, I can tell you, generally speaking, if you're right now, at least, and these partnerships can change all the time, but right now, if your student is in computer science, if they were a junior, for instance, they'd be taking some computer science classes through TMU here on Ignite's campus. And then the education scholars at the starting at the junior year, they take education courses through NKU. And we're lucky enough to have Leah Jefferson here as an Ignite teacher who also is certified to teach the EDU courses through Northern, but they're still like, on Ignite's campus. So, yeah. It is. Yeah, there's actually a Spanish sort of wing on the second floor over there. So we've got 2 dual credit certified teachers who teach Spanish through Gateway. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're earning college credit with the Spanish 101, 102 college level.
And those colleges are now still required.
Again, it depends on the school, it depends on the program. Most smaller private colleges want a language. I'll also, if I can throw this in kind of to address some, Gateway has worked very hard. Ignite.
You're going to come up here and see me.
Ignite is different in a lot of ways, but in terms of dual credit, we come to you. So your student will not have to go to Gateway's campus. Our instructors come here for our in-person classes. We have designed, our Dean of Arts and Sciences is amazing and has designed an entire curriculum for Ignite students to go through their respective colleges here at Ignite and earn an associate's degree. So whereas a student at Scott may have to go to campus to take a class and then go back to Scott High School, they may be in a Gateway class with, I always call them Gen Pop, but regular Gateway students. You guys are moving with your cohorts. You're moving with your peers through these classes at Gateway, or through Gateway at Ignite. So you guys have a lot of benefits built into this program, this dual credit program here at Ignite that other students in Northern Kentucky don't have.
And Ignite has a really important partnership with Gateway. Like, it's amazing what they offer to our students. So, yeah. All right.
I don't know if this has been asked, but with the Spanish classes with the design kids cannot take the sophomore year. So do they catch up somewhere along the line later on?
Yeah. So like for instance, this year's juniors, everybody else can't take Spanish 101 and 102 unless they've taken Spanish 1. But design scholars don't really have room for that in their freshman or sophomore schedules to take any Spanish because they're taking so many art and design classes. So we let them as juniors start right into Spanish 101 and 102. That's what we're doing this year because, yeah, they need to catch up if they want to try to, work toward the degree. Yeah.
Do you know how closely these classes align with the Young Scholars Academy classes? So like, if you're familiar with that.
Mm-hmm.
So do you know if he were to take the 3 classes available to him next year, would he take those again if we were to move forward with the Young Scholars Academies? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're asking, but I don't know the answer to it, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, the director of that program, Dr. Dempsey, she used to work here, so she's somewhat familiar with the curriculum, although the curriculum changes every year. But I think she would feel comfortable answering that question. Yeah. Yes. The Spanish class could be a mix for sure. Yes, Ignite high school students. That's what she's saying. Like Gen Pop is general population, so she won't be with other students outside of Ignite. History 101 is only going to have sophomores, and then CIT and OST probably will be just sophomores. Although We could have some juniors in there, or we might even have a senior or two who still need digital literacy on their smart plan.
There's an off chance of that, but again, these classes we offer are strict, they're closed. If you got on Gateway's website to look up a certain class that's offered at Ignite, you can't find it because it's only open to Ignite students, and I'm the only person that can put them in that class. So it's not like they'll be in an Ignite class with a 27-year-old firefighter. I will say if they choose to take summer classes, those are not specific to Ignite. So they would be with anybody. But again, if they're online, most of them are online, they won't be in a classroom with an adult. That's not.
And then I have a user time setting this year for your question, and Dr. Lindsay wants to like every single student individually for their schedule. So she wouldn't make them answer.
What else? Anything else? Yeah.
When students in individual study programs that are going for research, would they still sit for the second year ACT or also document program?
Yeah. So, and another benefit of Ignite is, you know, how every high school across the nation offers the ACT free to juniors once. Ignite also pays for all sophomores to take it together here at Ignite. So, in their sophomore year, they will take the ACT in March or April. Well, that's what they're doing this year. I don't know when they're taking it next year, but yeah. Yeah.
Students who have IEPs or 504 plans.
Great question.
How does that transfer over?
Can you answer it here?
So yes,
Ask them,
great
tell them what the
question.
is.
So if your student has an IEP or a 504, this is different than high school. And I'm going to put this out there too. I'm going to treat your student like a college student. I'm not going to treat them like a high school student, and the instructors are the same. I know that's harsh and sometimes people aren't happy with me, but that's just the reality. They're now a college student, so that comes with responsibilities. If they have a 504 and IEP, it is their responsibility to contact the Disability Services Office at Gateway. They're amazing. They will come out here, they will meet with your student, they will determine what their accommodations are, and then they share those with me and the instructor for whatever class they're in. But it is the student's responsibility to self-identify. Great question.
Yeah, so the student has to get the plan on file, like she said, with Disability Services, but then also be sure to advise each individual professor that you have accommodations on file at Disability Services. So it's a two-step responsibility.
Disability Services shares, if your student has accommodations, the Disability Services Office does reach out to the instructor and shares those accommodations. And the student needs to talk to the instructor about how those accommodations look in their class.
Anything else? No? Okay. Well, if you do have questions, feel free to funnel your child here on Thursday in the box. Otherwise, feel free to reach out to us. Yeah.
I know Ignite is not that old, so you may not have good statistics, but like how many scholars go to this program and how many end up in an associate's degree because of Ignite.
I do have the numbers. It's not a statistic so much as a number. We're still in the numbers category. So last year we had 8 seniors graduate with an associate degree. This year we're on track for 40 students to graduate with an associate degree. And next year we're on track for around 140 students to graduate with an associate degree. It's amazing. It's incredible. Hardworking students at Ignite.
One more thing real quick.
Okay.
I Googled the 529 because now I need to know. My friend Google gave me conflicting information, however. One site said it can be used for tuition for dual credit students. However, the other information I found said it can't be used because they are not full-time students. None of my business office people, or I tried to hit them up to see if they were online, and they're not because they all went home. But I will find the answer because now I need to know, and then I'll share that with you guys.
Typically, full-time is considered anything more than 6 hours. More than
Well-
half, more than half time is what that's in normal states.
Yeah, and that's why I want to check with business, because I saw conflicting numbers and conflicting data, so it would be great if you could.